Okay, so hello, future students and parents of those, or guardians of those students. I am here to welcome you to the IT program, the programming strand here at Forest Park High School. And I'm going to start out with showing you some of the intro programs that we do in the computer math class, the 9th grade class. What we have here is two different programs. They both are running a created from scratch by two students. They were freshmen when they made this, and they are using ovals, lines, and rectangles to draw these images, and only those three shapes. What I like to call this is a pixelized picture, even though it's not pixelized. If you do look close enough, it is literally all just pixels lit up. And now I'm going to show you the code between the two. First one we're going to look at is the cell phone one. Now please realize what we have here is a function, just a function that has parameters for x, y, width, length, and graphics G. We're using those values to throw into new variables, which we're using throughout the entire program. So this is all the code needed to draw this. Now, what we're doing here is we're setting it up based off of x, y, width, length. So we draw our background image, and then we're using this formula. What we're using here is, first they start out with something like g.drawRect, and it would look something like 3147. Now they plug these values, if you look right here, 3147, they plug them right into a setup that I give them that looks like this. And what happens is they're allowed to transfer a static small image of only 10 pixels wide and scale that based off of XY width length into an image that they can make multiples of. So if we go back to the program, what we're going to do is we're going to run it real quick, and we're going to see that the image is scaled. So we have a normal one, a wide one, a tall one, and a big one, and a small one. So that's all drawn literally with 5 lines of code, which is right here, because those 5 lines of code call a function that have several lines of code. So they get an introduction to variables, functions, and how to set up basically a graphical array. The next program that we have is the Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants. The nice thing about this one is they have custom colors. The other one also had them. I just want to point them out over here, where they're calling it Squid Blue and Ocean Blue, and they set these colors right here, and compared to using a template colored out black, and so on and so forth. Again, it's the same basic formula. However, they use bigger numbers over here to handle fractions and decimals, which was interesting. The reason I like this is if you look at the two programs, the base code is the same, the actual code is completely different, and the implementation of that code is way out there. So we have a cell phone and a Squidward. So those two things are not the same at all. And that's what I like about it, because it challenges the students to make a program at their level, and it always pushes them to do better. The next program that we do is a Libs Assignment, where if you look right here, every time I refresh, the words change. So you can tell by the shocked and scared. It goes Frankenstein, ghost, and Loch Ness. And then it goes chased, found, and it goes mwahaha and happy Halloween, and so on and so forth, which is pretty cool. The neat thing about this is they had a pumpkin background image because it was Halloween. They also have the debug code printed to the screen so they can see the values for that if statements. And now let's go into the code. This is where we're teaching them a whole bunch of conditionals, where they have to have 6 integers, 6 booleans, and 6 strings. We're using the math.random function, which creates a random number from 6 to 17. And we're using a get random boolean, which means it's half true, half false. They set up default values for the output. This is the debug code to see the values of October, Halloween, and scary. And then this is a double nested if, a if else if, a if else if else, and a triple nested if. And we also have just single if statements with ors and all the different operators for conditionals. And he's also has another if else if else. He uses brackets, he doesn't use brackets. They use the and sign, the greater than equal to, all sorts of different stuff. Again, this is to challenge a student to make something of interest to them. So the topic of the text doesn't matter to me. The output and the output types is what does matter. The other one was a more basic without a picture, but as you can see, he has a lot more words in it, creating an actual paragraph news broadcast that changes every time, and a whole bunch of different outputs on the top. Sometimes his debug code pops up, sometimes it doesn't. He also put a copyright in there, which is also interesting. He joked that he didn't want me to steal his code and sell it online. And the reason I joked with him about that is because I want the students to realize that they could make money off of the stuff they're doing. Not these specific programs, but the next one definitely. So again, they're using more math.random numbers, and as you can see, this person was a lot more comfortable with higher numbers, and he brought that out in his program. He has his booleans, his strings. Realize the strings are a lot longer in this one, and they build their character into the programs, which I like, because I get to use this as a way of learning about the students, to check their interests. If I tell them to make it about anything, odds are they're going to make it about what they like, and then I can bond with the students better and have a better working educational environment for them. The third project we do is the idle game, and this personally is my favorite assignment. We have 4 different versions here. All of them are completely different. Please realize the requirements for this is literally 5 pictures, 5 sounds, and 5 buttons. So hopefully the volume's not too loud on this one. When I click on the enemy, as you can hear, there's 2 sounds going on here. It's throwing the shuriken and then when it hits. And as you can see, there's no blood, so it's just a... There's also an auto click, so it automatically shoots for me. And then if I go to rules, it has a little background where I can feel the rules. I can change characters. And I can also do a special move, which is pretty interesting. And so all the different buttons work, and the enemy used to change too, but you just have to get up there in money. Now, realize that this program right here is the same assignment as this one, and they are completely different. This is the Pepemon, where I click on the Pepe and I get monies or Pepes, and then I click on Pikachu Pepe and it increases my Pepes per second, and then I click on regular Pepes, which does the same exact thing, but notice it's a different picture, different sound, and a different button. Same thing with Sad Pepe, different picture, different sound, different button. And then Bumble Pepe, same exact thing. I'm just building up my monies. And then Pikachu Pepe, which is, again, different button, different sound, different picture, except that's the same picture. But that's besides the point. And I just want to get to the last one real quick. And the interesting thing about this, if you saw that, I went to negative values. I wanted to show the students that because if you go past the range of the ints, it actually jumps to a negative number because it moves the sign bit spot, which is pretty cool. This one's using the portal engine, which again brings out the character of the student. So you click on the doge, and then you upgrade the doge, and then as you upgrade him, the troll face pops up, and you have to click to get monies, and if you click on the troll, you lose monies. And then once you upgrade, it goes really fast. And as you can see, I did hit it. And then it says, warning, do not press this button.
And his name is John C.
And that is all student-made, please realize.
His name is John C.
And then there is the mute button. So if I press the mute button and then press this,
And his name is John C.
The mute button actually doesn't work in this program, but it does change a noise in the background. So I originally thought it was a mute button, but they programmed it for a background noise instead of a mute button. So it just mutes one song, not everything. So if I still click this,
And his name is John C.
it still plays noise in the background. And last but not least, what we have here is my personal favorite game. We have the Fenton clicker, which, yes, that is the realistic version of me. We have Link noise going in the background, explosions. We have a help screen. It says click Sanic, and there's a little close button on the top left. And then we click play, and then we're supposed to click me up here, and we get monies, and realize I changed the values of this so I can play through. If I click pizza, I get my pizza upgrades. The vidya, I get the vidya. The do, I get the do. Bad eyesight. And then once I become a landlord, if I click on this, it says I win. And the only other one part of that game that I want to show you is when you click, see the bar in the middle that goes up? It's a green bar. Once it fills up, something special happens. And the interesting thing about this one is it plays a different song and everything. What they're doing here to shake the image is they're literally just redrawing the picture at a different XY coordinate, not changing the width or height. And what this happens is it makes it so that it looks like it's shaking, so it looks like everything's going faster. And then we have this white image that's flying across the screen. We just have to click that. There we go. Once I finally get it, you get a little bullet noise in the background, and then it moves on. That is the last idle game. Now, the interesting thing about this is we had a day of this where the students would literally go around and play the different games, but the neat thing about it is they would see the other students' code. Which the nice thing about this is, if you know anything about coding, every little character is different for every programmer. So you can go through and you can learn everything about this code going line by line. You can see the file names and all that jazz for the pictures and the sounds. You can go through and see how they implement them, what happens every second, what happens in the paint, how do they make the buttons line up where they are. It's more than just a variable usually. Usually there's a modifier attached. And it's really cool because it teaches them without them noticing how to reverse engineer a program, which is definitely a skill they need to have. I like to challenge the students to make it so that no matter what the skill level is, they could always improve. And overall, this program's been really great. The students have been loving it. And the relevance of the programs to the students' interests is what I like to highlight, because it makes it so that every game is different and every game is a challenge. That's just the first 3 programs to go. You still have another half a year after this. And I look forward to meeting you all, and hopefully I'll see you at the IT orientation night. Have a great one, and again, this is Mr. Fenton signing out. See ya.